boss overview from the PTR testing of 6.2 Hellfire Citadel today. Tyrant Velhari is up first, and she's a 3-phase fight. She has 3 constant abilities that remain throughout the fight. One is Edict of Condemnation. A player in the raid will get this, a ranged player in the raid will get this, and everyone will have to soak it. Melee don't soak most of it, range do. It'll get smaller and smaller every tick of it, so every 3 seconds it'll tick, and it'll get smaller and smaller until it reaches the focal point. Touch of Harm is essentially a healing debuff. It absorbs your healing taken. It can be dispelled, and by doing so it's passed on to another raid member. It is random, it's not the closest target or something like that, so if someone's getting low, I guess you'd pass that. I don't deal with the healing mechanics, but I'd assume that is how you handle that, and you just heal it up. 2.4 million healing needs to be done before that is removed. Doesn't go out too often, so not too much of a hassle, on Heroic at least. And you have Seal of Decay, which is just a tank swapping mechanic. Nothing really too exciting there. Phase 1, you have Aura of Oppression added to the fight, which every time you take a step or move at all, you will take some damage. It's not a lot of damage, but it does add up pretty quickly if you are, well, just running. That in combination with the other damage during that phase. Annihilating Strike, it is a frontal cone ability. It's targets a player. I believe only ranged get hit by this. And we handle this by having the person targeted stand still and everyone move away from it. It's not that big of a radius, so pretty easy to avoid. When you are hit by this, anyone that's hit by it, including the person that is targeted, you'll have a Searing Blaze under you. It's a small, very small fire void zone under you. It explodes after a few seconds. You just avoid that. Not a big deal. Infernal Tempest, the other ability that the boss has during this phase 1. And it is a AoE, well, not AoE, but rather it affects everyone. And you'll get Searing Blaze as well as take the damage from this ability. And the Searing Blaze, you just have to keep avoiding. You'll periodically spawn Searing Blazes under you every few seconds, and you'll have to just keep avoiding it back and forth, back and forth. You'll see in the video. It's a lot easier to explain with visual. Not a big deal again. Just move a bit, but don't move too much. You want to, again, because of Aura of Oppression, you want to avoid moving too much, but easily avoided. Then you have the add that spawns in phase 1 is the Ancient Enforcer. It has Thunder's Crash, Enforcer Onslaught, and Roaring Flames, which is attached again to Searing Blaze. Thunder and Crash I won't talk about. It's a tank ability. Enforcers, Onslaught, Roaring Flames. You get a ball that spawns from the ad, and it goes towards range. You want to avoid being hit by this. If you are hit by it, you'll have a Searing Blaze spawn under you, and that is also not good. Searing Blaze a lot in this phase. It's pretty much phase 1 is all Searing Blaze. That pretty much covers that. You don't have to kill this ad with, great haste, but obviously it has to die at some point. Not a huge problem. Phase 2, you have Aura of Contempt now instead of Aura of Oppression, and that basically reduces your HP to 80% immediately and will reduce your HP lower and lower as the fight goes on. So you want to get out of this phase pretty quickly. This is where we popped our lust. You have Tainted Shadows, that goes on any player, range or melee, and does some damage, as well as Corrupted Blast will also hit you and emit damage from you and to players within 5 yards of you. The only saving grace from Corrupted Blast would be Font of Corruption, which is a debuff you get, and that will immune you to the Corrupted Blast, but also every time Tainted Shadows is cast, it will also hit you, aside from the other players that it chooses to crush. So that's basically the fight in phase 2. It's not much to do. If you have Font of Corruption, you don't have to worry about moving away from people. If you do get Tainted Shadows cast on you, you have to move away from people. You don't want to AoE them, but Font of Corruption essentially makes you immune to the AoE effect of that. The add in phase 2 is a healer that needs to be interrupted, and every time you interrupt her, she will have a cast speed increase. So not a huge cast speed increase, only 15%. The mob dies pretty quickly. You do want to burn her down pretty quick. You want to get out of this phase, burn her down, burn the boss down, and move to the next phase, because the lower HP you have from Aura of Contempt is not something that you want to deal with for too long. That's phase 2. Phase 3, you have Aura of Malice, which is the fun aura. You get to take 10% more damage, but you deal 20% more damage. And this effect, as the other effects, it goes up over time. So you'll be doing more and more damage, but taking more and more damage. So it's a race against the clock, essentially. It's a soften rage. You have the Bulwark happening, which is essentially a tank mechanic. The tank gets hit and then leaves behind a void zone. These void zones hit for almost nothing. They're really, really a joke, and you'll see exactly what I mean in the video. I think on Mythic they might be harder. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go over that though. Pretty easy thing to avoid, and you have to. It's another soft enrage effect of the fight. You have to spread these out, and then you have the Gavel of Tyrant. Not a big deal. Just does a little bit of damage, knocks everyone in the air. A bit annoying. That's mainly that. And then you have the Ad. The Ad is a shielder, or it gives the boss a damage mitigation effect. So this Ad in particular, you want to burn down pretty quickly. When you get to phase 3, you want to save your cooldowns for after this Ad is dead. You might want to even use short cooldowns to burn down this Ad, and then use all your cooldowns, your big cooldowns, your trinkets, your pots maybe, if you haven't already used them, after this boss is dead for the last 20-30% or so. And this boss essentially, only thing to worry about is the ward, which is going to cast on the boss, reducing the damage taken by 90%. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the video, and I'll add all these things together here. Five-minute clip. I'll be pausing and playing as usual, explaining the encounter abilities as they come out. This is the Annihilating Strike. This goes on a particular person. You saw the cone go towards that direction. Only 2 people got hit by that. Should only be 1. So someone made a boo-boo. There it is again, Annihilating Strike. Everyone hit by that is going to leave a thing. Again, 3 people got hit by that. That's a boo-boo. This ad we really didn't care too much about. Not a lot of focus damage into it. People keep getting hit by that Annihilating Strike. It's really not that big a deal. It's the little fire voids and all you leave behind right here. Infernal Tempest. Everyone is having to dodge these effects. I cloak because I'm a rogue. And there's the adds mechanic. He throws out that fire orb. All right, here's the thing you have to stack up for range. It gets smaller and smaller as it goes on until it finally goes away in its focal point. Not a huge deal. She's in phase 2 already, even though the first ad is still alive. You see I have the debuff. Now I won't pulse when Tainted Shadows goes off. We have the HP reduction aura out right now, so that's why you see everyone at 80% or lower. Now this is the ad that you want to interrupt. She does the heal. There's that heal. Really slow cast to start off, and it becomes a little bit quicker. We want to get out of this phase as soon as possible. There's a lot of, between the HP reduction, the other ads still being alive. It's a bit a taxing phase. We want to do as much damage as possible in this phase, and you need a lot of healing reduction, damage reduction. I was hit by that orb. You saw the little fire thing spawn onto me? There you go. Not a good job, killers. Here it comes back. Do I get hit by it again? No, I avoided it. Good job. So we killed both the ads. Not a big deal, I guess. So the first ad we left alive for quite a long time. It's really not a big deal that ad to be alive. she's still in this phase until 40%. So we really want to push through. At this point, we're getting a bit low. Yeah, if someone wants to not get out and pulse on the raid, it would probably be a Wiperino. Alright, now we're out of it. Aura Malice is out, so everyone can be healed up to full again. Again, right now, at the start of this phase, we're taking 10% more damage, but dealing 20% more damage. And you can see those void zones. They're not as easy to see as another, typical void zones, but the tank essentially drops on the floor. And we're going to have to move around the boss room a bit. Now this is the last ad coming out here. You saw that gavel come out that knocked us up in the air. The boss does this now. And then you have this ad come out that is going to put a shield, essentially, on the boss to reduce. That's the ward going out right now. That's the cast. Now you know the boss has that effect on around her, showing you that she's taking 90% less damage. So we're trying to burn this down as quick as possible. I use my cooldowns on this mob. You really should probably save for the boss to get her down right after this is over, because that's when you're going to be doing more damage as you have a higher stack of that buff. That helps you do more damage, and you're going to be taking more damage, so you want to get through the last part of this fight pretty quickly. So adding that all your damage together, stacking it all together to do as much damage as possible at the end is probably a good idea. That is the fight. I don't think I did the best job explaining it, but it really is a simple fight after you get past everything and understand all the effects of it. We did force wipe here. We would have killed it. We had everyone alive except for one person. So we took 20 years to die to these void zones. They don't do a lot of damage. Like I said, they do very little damage. It's kind of humorous how little damage these void zones do. You think of void zones, you think of you touch it and you die. And you're taking it... you're taking more damage in this fight too at the end of it, so it's a little bit interesting. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you learned something from it.